the Marvel movies pay better than the UFC.
No, that's not true. I made a lot more money in UFC. I made a lot more money in UFC. But however, there's guys. We only hear about the people who makes it. You know what I mean? Like you hear about McGregor, you hear about Jones, you hear about like I made it too. I made a great money. I have enough money now to live for the rest of my life, and even not even. I don't need money anymore. Yeah, no, it's seriously, and unless I do crazy, stupid stuff.
Yeah,
you know, like there's always ways to do crazy stuff and lose
right.
everything. But I have more than enough to live 2-3 life again. You
That's
know,
great,
that I'm
man.
very good. I'm very good, and then to take care of my family as well. But the sad thing about it is most of the fighters, they're not like that. Most of the fighters, they will finish broken and beaten and very bad. It's a very bad movie ending, you know, for most of them. That's why when a parent come with his kids to me and say and introduce me his kids as, hey George, there's the new the future world champion. Do you have some advice for him? I always tell the kid, I say, you go to school? He say yes. I say, make sure you be good at school because this is the number one priority for you. Yeah, go train if you want, do boxing, MMA, basketball, but always be good at school because it's your assurance. If in case something doesn't work, at least you have an assurance. You can have a real job, because if you put all your eggs in the same basket and you only want to become a professional athlete, and if you reach the age of, for example, late 20s or 30s, and you realize that you cannot make it, damn, it's too late. You have nothing that you can fall into to catch up and make yourself for the money that you have lost. So I tell the kids, yes, try to make it big, try for a career, but stay at school. And it's same thing, not only in fighting. There's one on 100,000. Same thing in baseball, basketball, hockey, everything.
Yeah.
So the odds are very, very, very low for you to succeed. And it's not because I made it that I'm going to tell your kid to make it as well.
I think that's fantastic advice.
Mm-hmm. How much does a good manager play a part of all that? I mean, you're with Ali Abdelaziz, right? Like at a certain point, are they just sending you over the same contracts, or is he just kind of like helping you negotiate for more and more and more and more every time?
No, I'm with the CA, and I was lucky before I got with CA. I had advice from friends that were my friend before I was popular. So I always had great guidance, because a career of an athlete, especially in combat sport, it's not a straight line. And sometimes it's like when you play poker, you have to bluff. And I remember times that, man, I'm going to tell you the truth. My first fight in UFC, I made $3,000 plus $3,000 to win. My first UFC title fight against Matt Hughes that I've lost, I signed for $9,000 plus $9,000, and I lost that fight. So I made only $9,000. My first UFC fight. I made my first $1 million. I remember around my fight against John Fitch. And the reason why I made my first $1 million, I would not have made it if I would have not have played my card well. And my advisors would not have advised me well. So what I did is, the way it works in UFC, and if there's young fighters that listen to me, take some note, because it's very important what I'm talking about. If you want to retire money, to make enough money for the rest of your life and not be broke when you finish, pay attention to this. So UFC, they're not my friends. They're my employer, and they're there to make business. They run a business, and it's okay for me. So I have to look for the best of my interests. So the way it works in UFC is when you sign a contract, normally they try to make you sign a contract for multiple fights. So you know how much you will make for your next fight, your next one if you win, and next one if you win, and your next one if you win. And let's say you sign for a 5-fight contract, you know how much those 5 fights will give you if you win. And normally as you go in your career, that if you're successful, of course, that means your stock goes high. So when you're at your fourth fight and you have one more left, because your stock is high, they don't want to lose you. They don't want you to go to fight for other organization. So they want to keep you. So they don't want you to finish their contract. So before your last fight, they're going to try to renegotiate with you. And they're going to offer you something. However, it's up to you to make the right decision. And I remember I was in that situation at one point before my fight with John Fitch. And I was fighting for peanuts. You know, and when I say peanuts, I was making money, but not money as I was deserving. And I was in a dilemma because I had one more fight on my contract and my stock was high. I was the new rising star. I was the new champion, beating up everybody. And the money that they were offering me was not good. So for the what I've done, you know, for my level. So I had one more fight left, and I said, in their face, I had the courage to say, no, I'm going to end my contract after this one and see, try my chance to see to be a free agent because I believe I worth more money to see who can give me more. So what happened is one day before I was going to fight, the day after the weigh-in, the UFC owner came and did another contract for me. So he gave me a contract and the money that I want, and that's when I made my first millions of dollars. But if I would not have had the balls to do that and hold on to this, I would have been paid peanuts for the rest of my life. But because it's a business, that's how it goes. You need to have the right advisors that because fighting is not a straight line. Sometimes you need to put a poker face and say, no, I'm ready to take the fight and be a free agent after to see who can give me more. But if you do that and your stock is high, it's always a chance because you might lose your fight and your stock will be low. But if you do that and you're successful and the UFC let you go, and when you're a free agent, now it's gonna be like an auction. Who give you more money? So the UFC don't want that because they're the most prestigious organization. So they want to have the most prestigious, the best fighters. And if it's gonna make them look bad if they lose you to another organization, so you need to be aware of that, you know. But of course, you need to win your fight. You need to be successful, of course.
Man, I wonder if Chandler losing, if that's like such great news for the UFC because it shows that the UFC is the more prestigious for the best in the world.
Mm-hmm.
But it's always a gamble in a way that. Let's say you're in a contract that you have signed a 3-fight contract and you have won your first 2 fights and now you're about to fight your third fight. If the UFC think that you will probably lose your third fight against the guy that they're gonna give you, they're perhaps not gonna try to renew your contract before. They're perhaps not gonna give you a good contract. To renew it.
Right.
So and it's up to you to know, hey, is it worth it that I take a chance and I become a free agent or I want, you know what I mean? It's
right.
Mm-hmm.
You have to think about it. It depends on every situation, but you need to have good advisors. And unfortunately in MMA, a lot of guys, they have very poor, very bad advisors. And I had a chance to grow up with guys that were my real friends. So they advised me very well.
So when you're coming up on that last fight in the contract, do you think the UFC makes that a very hard fight for you, so that you don't have that negotiating power? Do they play it like that?
Well, for me, I was the world champion, so they always brought me the best guy.
Yeah,
so
yeah, that's true.
I was at the time that I didn't care. I was ready to take on anybody, anytime, anywhere. I didn't care. I was very hungry. Bring it, no problem, my friend. I'm gonna take care of it.
Mm-hmm.
But for young fighters, you know, like as it go up in rank, you need to be aware of that. You know, I see some young guys, sometimes they sign contract for like 8-fight deal. I'm like, it's ridiculous. Because if your stock go up,
Yeah.
you have no room of no power to negotiate because you already signed for 8 fights. So if you win your first 2 fights and you're very successful, Your 6 other fight, that's mean the purse that you're gonna have is predetermined. Right. So you have no power. And a lot of guys that get caught with that sort of thing, you know, it's foolish to think that everybody is well managed, because the problem is in basketball, in hockey, baseball, American football, they have a union that took care of the kids, because there's a plateau, there's codes, you know, there's a rules, you know, to follow. There's a guideline. We don't have any guideline in MMA, and that's why a lot of the athletes they're broke. They have no money, and it's very unfortunate for that.
Yeah. Wow. Fuck. So you went from making 9,000 to $1 million. That kind of jump.
Yeah, too. I made way past that in my last fight. Way past that in my last fight.
Good for you.
That's because Michael Bisping's trash talk.
We got 10 fingers holding up here.
About that, and with sponsorship and all that, all the deals I have, like about that, you know. So just to show you that everything is possible, and you know what I mean? But you need to perform to be a good fighter first, of course. Otherwise, you're not going to go nowhere. Right. But you need to be managed well. And I'm managed by CAA, you know, in LA. And I had a lot of issues when I was young, you know, like everybody else. I had to go in court, and I was badly advised at first in certain times. But I always had two of my close friends that I have for a very long time. One was a stockbroker, and no, not a stockbroker. One was a real estate, not real estate, a stock broker guy, and the other one was a fiscalist and a lawyer. So they had other jobs in the past. They were not working for me, but they were always giving me good advice. And as time goes on, I had enough money that I hired them to be in my team and took care of me. And then we went with CAA all together, and that's how everything happened, you know. But I was very lucky. So because when you start to make a lot of money, a lot of people gonna come to you, and there's a lot of sharks. And fighting, it's a world of shark, my friends. I'm telling you, it's very bad. You cannot trust nobody in that.
Do you still have a relationship with Ali?
Oh yeah, Ali is a friend of mine. Ali, I know him when I was poor. I didn't have money. I stayed in his house in New York. Ali is a good friend of mine. We text each other sometime. Yeah, Ali is a manager. He does not manage me, but he manages other fighters. He managed Khabib Nurmagomedov.
Yeah.
He managed a lot of good guys. Cameroon. He's got a great team.
Gaethje.
Man, I'd like to link up with him.
Yeah,
I think I've got some funny ideas.
When the UFC gives you a $10 million paycheck, I mean, maybe it wasn't all at once, but like do they give you a breakdown of where it's from, or is it just a check?
Well,
like pay-per-views or
the way it happened is they don't give you one check. The way it happened in MMA, like the way it happened for me, you can negotiate. Depend your level of power, of course. If you're, you know, it's always depend. It's different from every fighter. But you have enough power that you can demand, you know, a purse to win. You can demand a percentage of the gate. You can demand pay-per-views, because when I used to fight, it was we made a lot of money. The most of money I made, it was through pay-per-view buys. So I was paid to fight as a purse, but the most of money came later. It was during the pay-per-view buys, because it was making me a partner. So I was also a partner of the company. I was not only an employee. I was a partner because I had a good argument. I was telling them that because of me, a lot of people are gonna watch the show. And if you make money, it's fair that I make money too, because I'm bringing a lot of people to buy the pay-per-view. So, but that's how I used to. The system was different when I used to fight than it is now.
Well, now every world champion, if you're the champion, then you get a percentage of the pay-per-view for every champion.
Well, not everybody. And now I believe the structure has changed, because the pay-per-view now is ESPN. I don't think that the fighters has as much power now that they used to be. So like before, when I was fighting earlier in my career, we were allowed to have a lot of sponsors, you know. and we got paid a lot of money. Now there's a Reebok deal.
Right. And then now it's
place.
Venom.
So that's why, when I came back to fight Michael Bisping, one of the arguments that I was, were saying with my team and I were like, hey, yeah, you pay us a certain amount of money, but don't forget that I lost money because before I used to get my sponsor. Now I don't get paid for this. So Reebok need to pay me, or whatever I'm going to wear need to pay me that amount of money. So you need to fight for every inch of it. I don't do that. It's not my job. It's not my, that's not what I'm good at. I'm not, I'm not qualified to do that. I have very qualified people that do that for me. And I think a fighter, one of his jobs, I think it's important that he choose carefully his team, that he hire people that he can trust, but also people that are qualified to do the job to represent him well.
It's called Steve-O's Hot Sauce for Your Butthole. And if you go on Amazon and type in Steve-O's Hot Sauce for Your Butthole and order yourself a bottle, you'd be really helping me. Because right now we're ranked number 30 on all of Amazon. And if you buy a bottle, we might go up the ladder. And that would mean a lot. So please get on Amazon and buy Steve-O's Hot Sauce for Your Butthole. Yeah.
Yeah, dude.